Hello, this is Aaron Wissner with Local Future. I'm on the line here with Rae Sikora, live from New Mexico. Rae, how are you doing today?
Doing great. Beautiful day in New Mexico. Already had a great hike in the mountains.
That sounds beautiful. I wish we could all go for hikes in the mountains if we
I wish
like.
you could too, but not the same time as me. Not everyone.
You like you like your alone time.
Well, I just wouldn't want like 100 people on the hike.
As long as they weren't talking, maybe that would
Yeah,
be okay.
that could work. And if their feet weren't making any sound when they hit the ground.
Uh, One of my projects, which I have not really talked about before, but one of my projects is going for walks with a video camera. And my video camera, this one just here, which is my fancy one. So this video camera has like a stabilizer in it. And so when you turn that on and you walk with it, it's like really, really steady. It's not like bouncy or anything. And so I'll
Yeah.
go for a walk of like 10 or 20 or 30 minutes, and I'll try to walk really quiet and hold it really still. And I'll just record continuously, and then I'll put it on YouTube. So people who want to go on a virtual walk can go on a virtual walk, and they're not going to hear me talk, and it's usually in the wilderness. You know, I try to not have any evidence of civilization, and some of them get a lot of views, not you know, not a lot, but I like to imagine that people at least get something out of it. I think I have one of the sunrise too
Mhm.
online somewhere, where I just put the camera on the sun and let it rise for like an hour, and you can just watch the sunrise. I mean, there's nothing else to it. Oh, you can hear the waves splashing. This is
Nice.
over Lake Huron. So
I've
Rae,
done little bits, tiny little bits, like little videos or photos of parts of my hikes. Like, okay, for those of you who don't get to go out and hike, you know, here's the river, turn up your sound or whatever.
that's nice. Yeah, I do that once in a while on social media, just like a thunderstorm or something, record 5 or 10 seconds and put it on social media.
I wish we could
Nice.
get the smells out there with it too, though.
Hmm.
When computers have really made it, it'll be when you can smell what you're looking at.
Did you hear that humans have like 33 senses? Like if you count every single like little sense, like balance and like
Oh,
heat and cool and touch, and like there's a whole list of them. Like I don't even know them all, but hey, so today I was going to ask you, for people
mhm.
that are getting a little sad, perhaps, or blue, or depressed, um, or who have had that in their life before. You know, here we are again in May 2020, and things could be sad, blue, and depressing. What can people
Mhm.
do, in your personal opinion? What could people do to prevent themselves from falling into this kind of spiral of depression? Any ideas?
I have a million of them. But okay, so the first thing that came to mind
Yes.
was you probably already have something at your house, like a tire iron or a really good hammer, um,
Both.
or a sledgehammer, or like a wood splitter. And you should take that to whatever room you keep your TV in and smash the
Hey.
sucker. Smash your TV. So that's okay. That's the first thing that came to mind, was smash your TV,
Rae,
because
do you not have a television at all?
JC has one. I don't.
Oh,
I haven't had one since I was 18.
really? How do you feel having not a TV has negatively impacted your life?
Negatively, um, sometimes in conversations, I don't know anything about popular culture, um, but it hasn't made people stop hanging around me. So that's not a big negative. Well, how else? It doesn't have any negative effects. It's
What?
mostly positive. I have more time. if you can imagine. People, I mean, so people who have TV, they'll be able to relate to this. It sucks time, and they're probably eating things and at a pace that they're not even aware of. Like they'll go, oh, did I eat that whole bag of, wait, you're eating lettuce or something. That's not what most TV watchers are eating. They're eating like Cheetos and crap like that.
I'm eating spinach. I like spinach. It's
Okay,
good.
there you go. Okay,
Look,
so
with my green screen, you can see right through this. Look at this. You can see like right through the spinach.
whoa, magic spinach. Anyway, I just think it like mindfulness and just being where you are and appreciating where you are is like the numero uno, I think, for staying positive. Don't get carried away in any story or drama or whatever. Just be where you are right in that moment. TV doesn't let you do that. TV's just like, anyway, so it's been a positive for me.
Does anybody actually watch TV nowadays, though? I mean, actual commercial television. Well, I guess people do. Like,
of course, or there wouldn't be commercials. They're moneymakers.
I suppose so. I do know a few people in my family who do watch television, so that's true. But in my household, we do not watch television, although I did succumb to some morning local TV news and some evening local TV news. Not recently, but earlier this calendar year. So
I watch it on the TV with JC. We have like
what about like
he invites me in to watch movies and stuff.
Oh, okay.
So I do that with him. But that just sort of like hanging out in whatever that box presents to you. It was really telling when, I lived in Sweden for a while, and then when I came back, I was like, whoa, what the heck's going on with TV? It was really different. One of the big differences was that pharmaceuticals, before I left for Sweden, it was illegal for them to advertise. And when I came back, it was legal. Do you remember that it was illegal for pharmaceuticals to advertise?
No. When was this? Maybe I wasn't paying attention during those years.
It was probably about 15 years ago.
So
that
2005?
It changed. Yeah, I'm terrible with linear time, but right around then, I'm terrible at it. Like, JC will correct me all the time. He'll be like, no, that wasn't 5 years ago. That was 10 years ago. And I'm like, oh, close enough. That's not, linear time is not my friend. But
so for people that don't actually want to attack their television with tire iron, do you have any?
I've said that, but I did.
Any like mid like not quite as drastic?
Balance it out. Yeah, balance it out. Like don't get all like hung up in this. Right now, even if you listen to like public radio, 99% of what they're talking about is like virus, fear, da 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 da. There's a lot of crazy making stuff in media right now.
Well, that makes it more sense, at least, that I would take the tire iron inside the car to the radio, because at least it's a tire iron that's already in the car.
It's more convenient that way, but it would be bad for resale of your car, so I wouldn't recommend that. Don't do this at home. Don't do it.
That's a good point. But on the other hand, I took the insurance off my car because I don't drive anymore. So I don't know that it would make a big difference.
How cool is that? Oh my God. Are you bicycling everywhere?
No, there's no place to go. Where am I going to go?
Oh, you're not going anywhere. Oh, that's nice.
Well, maybe soon.
Well, you probably are going somewhere. You're going for walks in beautiful non-human places, non-human dominated places.
I go outside sometimes. So you would extend this, I'm thinking you would extend this also to social media then.
Yes, don't get caught up in it. Don't. I am on social media, and part of it is like my work and different projects we have going on. So I'm on Facebook. I'm really bad at it. So people be like, did you see my post about such and such? And I'm like, no, I'm not even sure how I would find your post. So I'm not like that social media wizard, but I am on there. We just opened a vegan cafe here in Santa Fe. And
I can hear your You're doing
That's my,
something.
it's my glass straw.
Yeah, I
You know,
know. That's really
my
loud.
wow, you can hear that?
Oh
Your
yeah.
computer has good ears. I'll stop spraying my lemon water.
I can hear your dogs breathing in the next room.
They
I'm,
are.
I'm just teasing.
Oh, they're snoring. I thought you could hear them. Anyway, so yeah, so social media. I'm on there, but I don't live for it. I'm not, I'm just not on there a lot. I'm not on the computer that much. I think people just can balance it out,
Oh,
meditate,
unplug?
unplug.
Unplug.
Yes, unplug. And even like what you and I were talking about, just getting out into the woods, going to these places that aren't human dominated, it just shifts you. I can get a little bit cranky about things going on in the world right now. There's
Even you.
oh yeah, just the amount of sort of hate, violence, racism, all kinds of stuff going on. And all it takes is one walk in the woods, and I can feel like every cell in my body has changed. My mood changes. And so we go pretty much every day. It's a minimum of 3 hours of hiking in the forest each day.
Really? How
Yeah.
do you make sure to preserve that time for yourselves so that you don't schedule something in? Is it like a set time of day, or is it
Oh,
a certain, like, we do this after we do such and such, and it's just your pattern?
I do it when the dogs start circling, like restless little creatures going, let's go. So I don't actually have to schedule it. It's in their schedule, and I'm part of their plan.
So are you a proponent of dog adoption?
Oh, yeah. So we have 4 of them, and I would actually be fine. I could live without a dog. I never have. Um, but I could live without a dog because I don't need to be needed. And I'm fine to be on my own. But I figure we have this loving home. So we do fostering, rescue. We keep the rejects, the ones that people return. We get the return objects. So we have 4 of them now.
Well, you do rescue, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. All right. So unplug. I can see that. Recently I've been noticing on the social media that there has been, well, it's such a challenge because you put something on there that you hope is helpful to people, and then some of the time you get absolutely no response. And maybe this is, to a certain extent, I know that you're vegan and you're supportive of animal rights, and yes, very nice. Yes. I have noticed on social media that there seems to be a bit of an echo chamber for
Yeah.
vegans and animal rights activists. Where,
UPS. Sorry, what can I do? That's the UPS bark.
that's
It's
okay.
okay. It's okay. Okay, sorry.
And it's either on social media, you're either talking to people that already agree with you, or if you're talking to people that don't agree with you, they shut you down, or they snooze you, or they just, like, there's ways on social media to just kind of hide people for a while. And so on social media right at the moment, I'm not sure. I think I have like a little echo chamber, and then everybody else has just put me to sleep. Figurative.
But you know what? I've noticed that too. Like, and it also UPS. Chispa. Jeez Louise. Chispa, come here. Cheese. This is
There's
why
a
she's
little video, a viral video on Wednesday that was showing I don't remember, a UPS carrier or something, and he's going back to his truck, and somebody's like video recording him, and the FedEx truck or something comes by, and he, you know, he flips the bird to the other driver, and then he just kind of laughs and waves. That's kind of funny.
I thought you were going to tell me about the guy who has these dogs who get into his UPS truck. They're so happy to see him.
Oh, no, I haven't seen that one.
That's a real sweet one.
I really liked, I'd been getting into some of these kind of, you know, too many of the factual, you know, the world is, the world's going to change a lot, you know, videos and websites. And then I came across John Krasinski. Do you know John? He was in the Office TV show as
See, this is one of those moments.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know popular culture.
Well, anyway,
I've never seen The Office.
he made a very humorous video, so he lifted my spirits, which I
Okay,
thought.
you have to send me a link to it and I'll watch it.
Well, it's very context related though. If you haven't seen the show The Office, you wouldn't really get the second half of the video.
Oh.
You might have to have it explained to you, but
this is a disability for me for not having TV.
That's okay though. I did not have TV also for a certain number of years, and then family members insisted. They bought for us a television for our house because we had to have one, because we didn't have one. Because when they came to see us, they didn't have anything to watch.
I know how that is. My family loves television, my parents and whatnot.
All right, we've talked about this topic for a long time. So what other things?
I want to talk about that echo chamber thing for a minute. Love that terminology, because there's a part of me that's like thinks that Facebook is a little bit pointless because of that. Like, I'm sharing stuff. The people who are liking it are people who already know it and like it. But then as soon as I go, I think I'm going to get off Facebook, then I get some message from somebody. Oh, I've been following your posts and now I've been vegan for 2 months, and you know, so I'll get something like that, and I think, oh, I can't stop putting those posts up, because maybe there's the odd person, not odd person, but maybe there's someone who is going to see it and it's going to affect them.
Some people might,
like, I didn't know.
Some people might call you odd, like one of the groups I post to, and I don't remember if it was your video from last week or a different video, but the response was something about, makes me feel like I should go get a burger.
It was definitely not my video that made them say that.
Well,
it had to be somebody else.
It might have been Juliana's video or Milton's. I think it was Milton's video. I don't remember. But
did you have Juliana Hever on?
Yeah, haven't you seen that one? Oh, it's so good.
No, I love her.
She is very good with her charisma, and her friend. Oh no, I can't remember his name. Rae, I believe. Her partner Rae. He's very clever. Although, I think I probably had to rewind the video afterwards to catch everything that Rae said to me. But in any event, let's keep going. What else, Rae? What else?
Okay.
His name can't be Rae because your name's Rae. That doesn't make any sense. Carl.
Yeah, there are a lot of Rays.
Roy. I don't know.
There are multiple Rays in the world. It could be Rae.
Well, my grandfather was named Rae, so yeah.
You see, so many of us. Oh, and meditation, we talked about that last time, but that's a biggie. Like, it's not like woo-woo, new age, oh, that's a story. You know, there are physicists and other scientists who have really researched, like, what does it do to people's physical, like brain chemistry, and, you know, there are things that are just known to help people mentally, and meditation's one, exercise is one. And I think that people, you know, I'm not the biggest optimist in the world, for sure. You know, like, after our last talk, I thought, oh, he's really an optimistic person. Much more than me, because I don't know if this is a good thing to say or not, but really I'm thinking like humans kind of are a virus. We are a virus on the planet. You know, we do more harm than good on the planet as a species. So, you know, what does the best future look like? If I gave you my ideal future for the planet, it wouldn't have any domestic creatures on it, including humans. So
What about
that's,
all the uncontacted people, like the people in New Guinea and the people in India on Sentinel Island and the people in the uncontacted Amazon? You would,
small percentage, small. They're still humans.
you know, a sentient species would evolve eventually again, and then they'd end up in the same position we're in right now, more or
You're
less.
probably right. Really?
So
I think, wait though, do you think what's this whole crazy experiment and all the mistakes we've made, this could be repeated?
a great a great large amount of it, yes. I
Um,
don't know how many times, because I don't know how long the Earth will be suitable for animal life, if it's 500 million years or 1 billion years or 2 billion years. But in any event, I mean, that's a lot of time, and there are a lot of animals that could evolve to be sentient in the same way that we are. There's the raccoons. There's lots and lots of monkeys and apes, and
mhm.
there's there's a lot of different animals out there. So I mean, I think the main thing is they have to have hands, and I,
Opposable thumbs.
I don't know how it happened with humans. I didn't ask Milton the whole idea of when great apes lost their tails, what was, to what extent did that play into our whole evolutionary tree ancestry?
Oh, I would love to know where he stands on that.
Yeah.
Like, just, I mean, what his theories or philosophy or whatever is on that. You know, because he's a religious person.
Yes.
And so I would love to know his idea on evolution versus creationism and all that. That would be interesting. You should, hey, have a talk with him about that.
Yeah. Yeah, I've got to pin him down on a date. A lot of people will be like, yeah, I'll be happy to talk with you again. I'm like, okay, let's pin down a date. Well, I'm not sure yet. Well, let's make it like a month from now then. So I have to remember to do that. A lot of times I'm not willing to schedule more than a couple weeks out, but all right, back to you.
So, you know, the reason that I brought up that whole, like, I'm not necessarily the biggest optimist
Yes.
is that when I talk about like balancing your life, you know, meditation, exercise, to have like a positive outlook in your life at least. And it's similar to what we were talking about last time, which is it makes your ability to accept things as they are without getting totally thrown off definitely much, much stronger, that ability. So, you know, the world's kind of it's a crazy place. I call it Earth School. And I don't remember signing up, but here I am.
You didn't
And
have
nobody,
to. You were automatically signed up. We're all here already.
right?
And you know what? We were always going to be here.
Yeah, yeah. And so, I mean, I didn't get a manual for doing this. None of us got the manual, like, oh, here's your life skills for Earth. You know, so we're all just kind of fumbling along in it. So I think the best way to do it without just kind of losing it is to really find what brings you joy, surround yourself with people who make you laugh a lot, or whatever brings you joy. That brings me joy. I have a lot of goofy people who make me laugh a lot. And, you know, meditation, helpful, because it just brings you out all that crazy stories going in your mind, and you're just, boom, you're just right there.
Well,
And just
summarize your meditation practice. Is this a daily meditation? Is it a certain amount of time? Is it just kind of, I'm going to sit down and sit for a while? Is it, I'm going to sit down with a journal? I mean, what does your practice look and sound like? What would I
You
see if I was there and you were meditating? What would I see and hear?
you would see my evolved practice, which, I'm not the most disciplined person. So it is daily, but right after I do one of those 10-day courses I was telling you about, the 10-day silent Vipassana course, I come home and I'm like, yes, I'm going to do an hour in the morning and an hour in the evening. And that's what they recommend for the meditation that I do. And I do it for a while. And then I'm like, oh, something else sounds so much more fun than sitting here and observing my breath and my sensations. And so then it evolves. And so I haven't been to a 10-day course this year yet. So it has evolved or devolved, probably some people would say, into it's a half hour in the morning, and then right before I go to bed, I meditate. But it's helpful. It really is helpful because I'm a kind of an anxious person and a worrier, but it's really helped me a lot. I'm not so reactive. I can kind of just accept things as they are, and then I don't know, things just go smoother.
I was listening to a talk last week by a couple of MIT professors, and one of them was saying that he meditates a couple hours per day continuously. And I don't remember if it was Max or Youssef. It was one of them, but one of them is a cosmologist, and another one is a well-regarded intellectual. And I like that idea. So do you just, for meditation, do you just like sit down and just sit with your eyes closed, cross your legs? And I mean, is that how?
I do.
Is that how?
I do. And because I've had all these 10-day courses since 84, I don't know how many, at least one a year since 84. But, so they actually teach you how to do it. Not like we have to be taught how to do it, but it's helpful to have guidance. And so you're just focusing on your respiration here, right here, till you can, it sounds like an easy thing to do, like to feel your breath coming in and out here, but it's not easy because we have crazy minds that want to take us here and take us there. And so it starts with that, and then it goes to just kind of scanning your body for sensations from head to toe. And that also sounds easy, but it's not so easy. Even for long-time practitioners, their minds can kind of get a little cuckoo on them and take over. There's this really wonderful guy I used to go. The name of the place sounds ridiculous, but it's a wonderful place in Florida called Temple of the Universe. And do you know who Mickey Singer is? Have you ever seen this guy? He's been with Oprah and whatnot. He was a very wealthy, like software developer guy, and he got out of that world. And then he built this 600-acre place in Florida near Gainesville, where there's yoga, meditation, and talks by him. And his talks are great because he really says it like it is about our minds and how much control we let our minds have over our lives and everything. So I highly recommend him. There's all these great tools for not being down. And at the same time, I'll say, like I have friends who deal with depression. And if you're feeling despair, if you're feeling depression, that's not the time when you're reaching out for some tool going, oh yeah, I really want to feel better. It's very hard to reach for even the tools you have. I don't know if you've ever dealt with depression, but it's something that can, you don't want the tools. You want to just tune it all out, tune out all the positive. You go into this place. It's not even necessarily like you want to, but it's what happens for people who are really dealing with depression.
I'm kind of a male, so
You kind of are.
I don't like to use the D word. I might say I'm feeling sad or I'm feeling a little bit blue, but I try to steer away from the D word. But But if I'm saying I'm blue, I mean, you can ask me, well, how long have you been feeling blue, Aaron? Has it been more than a day? Has it been more than a week? Have you went for a walk? And then, then if you were a psychologist or a psychiatrist or a counselor, you might say, you know, you sound like you might be feeling depressed. Well,
No, you're just feeling blue.
Just feeling blue. Yes. Well, and this,
but then you know how it is.
this,
You know,
this very much concerns me. And the reason I pose this question today is because I see these stories about people who are getting despondent and they are trying to escape from this despondency, from this depression. And, you know, one of the common ways that escape is attempted, especially by men, more successfully, is suicide. And this has happened in India, like when the farms were no longer, they couldn't feed their families anymore because they weren't bringing in enough money. And right now, I mean, the farmers, this is really an epidemic amongst farmers. Also, a lot of times high schoolers who are bullied. And one of the things I tried to write and post on Facebook, but again, no likes, no reposts, was number one, it's not your fault. Number two, you are not crazy. Number three, this is not normal, the way we are living in these boxes, surrounded by these things. I mean, this is not normal. And when you talk about being out in nature, I mean, that's about as normal as somebody's going to get, you know. I mean, being out in nature. I mean, we're not with our community, our parents and our children and our aunts and uncles and cousins like we would have been throughout almost all of history. But at least being out in nature, we're closer to normal. And it's not your fault. Oh my gosh, it's not your fault. No matter who it is, it's not your fault that you can't find a job. It's not your fault that you can't figure out how to navigate the crazy system to get your unemployment check. It's just not your fault. It's just not. It isn't. And I feel so sad for people when I know they're feeling like that they should be able to figure this stuff out, but it's really not their fault. I mean,
I think there's this other element to it too. Even the people who may not feel like it's their fault, right now they're feeling like they're hitting wall after wall. Putting in this effort, boom, I hit another wall. Boom, I hit another wall. And it's exhausting for them.
Especially all these people who are struggling to take care of their families. And the ones who are small business owners, especially. I mean, I'm seeing business after business go under in my area. Like the Chinese restaurant, there was another restaurant, and then a cosmetologist, a haircut salon today or yesterday. And it's very, very difficult to understand that it's just not your fault, but you feel like you have no control as well.
No control and no solution in sight. Like people don't see like, oh, this is hopeful because, you know, I see an end to this. That's one of the most discouraging parts of what's going on right now. There isn't this, people are really used to having an exact timeline. Oh, this tornado hit, but we know it's going to pass through quickly. Or this hurricane or whatever. It's going to pass through quickly. And eventually we'll get some aid. And it's not happening to everyone in the world, so there isn't everybody trying to get help. So those are more like doable for people. This one is really knocking people for a loop because it doesn't have an end in sight. You know, people don't know, oh, am I going to have a job as a professor in the autumn, or is it going to be 2 years from now? There's no definitive answer to it. And I think that's really challenging for people, is that they don't, it's hard to come up with a solution to something that doesn't have a clear, this is the life of it, or this is the half-life of it even. People don't know, you know, and so I don't know, I feel spoiled in a way by it. Like my life is mostly the same, you know, and I mean, my partner JC and I, we even have the audacity to think we can open a vegan cafe in the midst of it. It just opened last week. So this cafe is like, it's open. It can only do carry out, of course, curbside carry out. And it's doing great. So I just like, I feel a little bit, I think I'll call it entitled, like, or spoiled or something. Like so far anyway, I am not deeply affected personally in my personal life. Yeah, I'm affected by what other people are experiencing, but yeah. And in a way, it's the one way that I feel discouraged by it is all of these appeals for nonprofits needing money right now, because money's really slim for people. They're not giving as much, and I'm used to being able to be a little more free myself with how many groups I support, and so that in a way has affected my life. I don't get to be quite as free as I was with it, because we don't have the same amount coming in either. But humans are pretty resilient. We'll get through this.
We will. I remind, again, on my social media feed, which I don't know if many people follow. I've got like 600 friends, but do they even see my stuff? The algorithm, that artificial intelligence, has to rank every single thing that they could see, and my stuff is probably so far down. It's like they'd have to scroll for an hour to find my stuff. But
I really like you, and I don't follow your stuff because I don't have a clue about that stuff. Like, it's that thing where somebody says, "Oh, I posted this on Facebook," and I'm like, "Didn't see it,"
Yeah. So I have to decide a new relationship between myself and the artificial intelligence on these platforms. But
I'm going to start checking out your posts.
Oh, thanks. So what were you saying just now? I had a thought related to that.
Oh, just about our resiliency, and that we will
Right. So my comment,
we don't know what it looks like. It's a change. We're not used to change.
My comment was that my great grandparents, all 8 of them, made it through the Great Depression. All 8 of them.
Yeah, all of mine too.
And all 4 of my grandparents came out of the Great Depression. All 4 of them, they made it all the way to get married, to have kids.
Mm-hmm.
And that wasn't like even the biggest depression. I mean, there's depressions all the way back to the beginning of civilization, like 6, 7, 8,000, 9, 10,000 years ago. And yet here we are. And even if this was the worst depression in the history of the universe, the history of this planet, humans are survivors, and we can make it through as long as we stick together, because that's where our strength comes in reaching out to each other and holding on to each other's hands and supporting one another and being together, no matter who ends up at the state capitals with their signs that are incendiary.
It's today we were just talking about this is about humans going into the unknown. I mean, in a way, we have history to look at. What you're talking about is history. We can look at history and go, "Oh, we're going to be okay." But it's also for each individual, it's going into the unknown. Humans do not like going into the unknown. It's like they want to know.
It's the hero's journey. The hero's journey. That idea, the hero's journey.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. But I mean, even me, I'm a little bit shocked at how long this is persisting, this sort of shutdown, lockdown. So we were just talking about it today. A couple of friends stopped by to pick some stuff up and to drop some stuff off. And they said, "Oh, are you still cooking for the homeless project?" Because we're cooking for hundreds of people every week. And I said, "Yeah." And I'm not so altruistic. Like when I volunteered for it, I thought, "Oh, maybe I'll be doing this for a month. No problem. I'm still cooking, like every week I'm still cooking." So I claim to be this person who's very comfortable going into the unknown, which in general I am this person who is. But this one, I'm like, what the heck? I didn't see this coming. Like, how long am I going to be cooking hundreds of meals every week for this homeless project? I don't know. Yeah, the whole unknown thing. There's a part of me that loves it. It's exciting. Even with the whole virus thing and how weird everything is, I'm like, wow, this story just got really interesting. You know, part of me is really enjoying that part of it. It's not boring for me. You know, and then this other part of me is like, oh my God, you know, could we just get back to where I can go to one grocery and find spices? You know, things like that. We're so spoiled, you know, like that's my big issue. You know, it's like very first world problem. I can't find spices.
All right, so let's see, our ideas that we've generated together so far, I'll take credit for most of them.
Credit for all of them.
one is to get rid of the TV and unplug. With
You forgot about the tire iron. The tire iron.
That'll be your idea. Get outdoors. Now
A lot, not
lot.
just like 30 minutes a day. A lot.
So more than 30 minutes a day. Well, you know, that's more challenging for some people who live in cities or who have families and they have to take care of the kids. Although you can bring the kids with you, can't you? In
Oh, yeah.
cases. All right, so we have that one. We have that one. Meditation. I mentioned reaching out to other people, like I'm reaching out to you and you're reaching out to me. And we're trying to reach out over social media, albeit perhaps not very effectively.
Exercise. Get out there and sweat. Or if you can't get out there and sweat, sweat in your own house. It's amazing. It changes all the chemicals in your brain. Yeah, work out, people. Use your body. Okay, sorry, you're counting the ideas.
Well, that's good. No, so exercise. Also, I think the humorous content. I mean, there are a lot of people online who are trying to keep us in good cheer. So I think that's not bad to be willing to, you know, don't block that stuff out for sure. You know, seek it out if you need to. And the, you know, our ancestors got through every single depression there ever was. Our great.
Oh yeah, so look at history. Look back at history a little bit and how resilient we are.
We are very, very resilient. Now that doesn't mean that, that means human individuals and families are resilient and communities. That does not necessarily mean that corporations are resilient or governments are resilient. I mean, that's a different thing. But honestly, all we need is food, water, shelter, and community, and a little security, and we can do pretty good.
Oh yeah, and there's some really fun stuff coming out of this. Like, I heard this story. I wish I had seen the story because I want to see the visual of it. But I heard this story about how people are adapting to this lockdown time. And one of the things is hair salons are offering haircuts online. But what they do is like they do like a Zoom thing. And then I would have scissors or whatever it is I'm using. And they coach the people. They're like, okay, now do this. And now do that. People are giving themselves haircuts. And the hair salon, the hairstylist is coaching them through it. That's hilarious. I want to see it.
I could have used that today because I got out my big trimmers and I went over my ear like this, and I can tell that I've got like weird lines and stuff.
See, I could have coached you through it, but it looks pretty good actually.
Thanks. Yeah, I'm a pro. Although the first time I got the trimmers out when I very first got them back in the 90s, I tried to do my hair, and by the time I was done doing my hair, I was absolutely bald. And my girlfriend at the time, who's now my wife, she said that I had to leave like until there was at least something left. So I had to go away.
You at least had some stubble.
Yes, I had to go away for a couple weeks.
You know, it's so funny that when JC and I were on the road with our solar camper for 3 years, he cuts his hair with one of those things that you made yourself bald with.
Yeah.
And
Trimmers.
trimmers. And the comb flipped off while he was going down
Oh, no.
and it went right down to the skin. So I have photos of this. We should put the photos on your site. Anyway, he's got a white stripe going down here, and all I could do was laugh. I was not sympathetic. I was laughing so hard. So there's a really great photo of him with the white stripe. I'm behind him laughing and taking photos because I think it's so fabulous. And he's got his back turned to me going like this. Because I think he wanted sympathy. See,
Yes.
trimmers, fun.
Yeah. From time to time, we use sign language in our house as well, although it's generally now when the kids are in the room.
Oh, I heard a great story on NPR. This, what was a sad story in one way, and then it was positive in another way. But the sad part is this woman in Seattle, her son was in a car accident, in a coma, in the hospital. There was an insurance mix-up, and the insurance company wouldn't cover anything, so they said she had to take her son home. So suddenly she had her son at home in the coma. But as he started to get better, there's her favorite moment when she knew he was really getting better after he came out of the coma, was when his sister teased him and he still didn't have speech, but he gave her the finger. And she's like, I never thought that would just make my heart so happy. It was great.
All right. Do you have any other ideas before we wrap up and let these people go? They've been sticking with us to hear the final wisdom.
Well, it might just be you and me.
Yeah, it could be.
Maybe there's nobody else. Eat good food, people. Don't eat crap. You're going to want to eat crap when you're like in your house or life isn't going exactly how you planned. But, if you can find good food, eat good food.
So you're talking about whole foods like an apple, a potato.
Like real food,
like
the real deal.
A whole food that's not been processed or ground up. So you're talking like the produce department, like real food.
Bingo. Yeah.
I was on a website today. It's called Reddit, and the top post for today was something like tastiest meal for a hobo or something like that. And he was looking for like, really super cheap meal suggestions. And people were coming
baked beans out of the can. Isn't that what hobos eat?
Well, people were coming up with stuff like, rice is simple, and potatoes, super simple. One of the Russians said, in Russia during the 1900s, we had some tough times, and you can do amazing things with potatoes. Just buy a bag of potatoes, and those will last you a long time.
I can do amazing things with potatoes.
Yeah, so rice and potatoes. I like oats. I mean, I eat oats every day.
Me too. I can do amazing things with oats too.
Bananas and apples. Yeah, so like whole food, not no sugar added, no oil added, no salt added, not processed as possible.
I even do it when I'm hiking. Today I was eating dandelion greens while I was hiking because they're really fresh right now. They're wonderful.
Yeah,
there's a lot of food on the trail.
I have not eaten those in a while. Okay. So let's see if we can generate our list one more time before we say goodbye. So let's see if we can alternate. So I'll do the easy ones. Go after your social media and electronics with a tire iron.
Very good. I'm so glad you learned that one.
Your turn.
Meditate.
Okay. Go for a long walk, longer than a half hour, in wilderness or kind of wildernessy places if possible.
Or as close as you can get to it.
Yeah.
Sweat. Get some exercise, people. Move your bodies.
I'm going to add one, which is if you have the ability to take a shower, take a shower.
Before or after sweating?
As often as possible.
Here we do it often because we have an outdoor shower that waters our plants outside.
That's lovely.
It's great.
I want to get a large water container that goes up close to the roof. So when it rains, the water will go into that. And then, yeah, there could be a shower underneath near the
Gravity feed.
Yeah, gravity feed.
Nice.
It's your turn.
Oopsie, where were we? Oh, look back at history and see how resilient we are.
And we made it. I didn't mention this one either. Tend to something like a garden or a pea plant or some tomatoes or something. Help something grow.
That's a good one. Mm-hmm. Why are you making me do this back and forth thing? Anything? Too bad we don't have like listeners who can remind us. I like those. I like those kind of interviews where the listeners go, "Here it is, Ray. I got it." You don't have to think.
Maybe I'll put like the list in the description. Like, just open the description and read down a little bit, and there'll be the list.
Perfect, because you can actually go back and painfully listen to this whole hour of us talking, and you can take notes.
You can reach out to other people and ask them what they need. Ask them how you can help.
That's a goodie.
Help other people. You talked about helping other people and how you've been doing that.
Yep.
Well, I think that's a pretty good one.
I have another one.
Go ahead.
Keep doing the things that nourish you, or like what your dream is or your passion is, regardless of what the future looks like. Just do it. Like, for instance, like crazy people who open a cafe during a pandemic. Like, whatever it is, if you have this vision, just keep doing it. Don't worry about what the final is.
Or crazy people that imagine, hey, if I call people up on Zoom and record it and then put it on YouTube, maybe someone will be helped by it in some way.
Yeah. Or you can play it at our funerals. That'll be nice. Isn't that fun? Is that more?
Well, at some point we have to all recognize that, we are in the middle of a long process, the long timeline of our life. Some of us closer to one end than the other. And,
yes.
But yeah, I mean, everybody has to, I think at some point, face death and come to terms in one way or another with it.
It's just another adventure.
I like to imagine that I like cosmology and the astronomers and all those people, the physicists, and they say, we live in a multiverse. And there are...
You and I talked about this. You and I both have like...
Yeah, and there are many, 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 many yous and many, many, many me's. And just because this one particular me returns to the earth at some point soon or later, that doesn't mean the others will. And the ideas we've shared may live on for a very long time. Who knows?
Love that. I just love hanging out with you.
Hey, thank you so much for your time, Rae. Do you have like a website or anything if people want to get a hold of you or learn more about what you do?
We have a very, it's a neglected child, our website, but it has some interesting stuff on it. It's called plantpeacedaily.org. Plant, like planting a seed, peace like this, and daily.org.
Except it's not quite as daily as it used to be.
It's not, well, the website isn't, but we still keep planting the peace. We just don't pay attention to the website as much.
All right. Thank you so much, Rae. I hope
Thank you.
I hope your life is perfect as it can be. Oh, did I sign off with my little quote last time? Oh, let's see, what was it?
If you did, do it again. I don't know if you did.
Oh, how did it go?
Do I have to do the quote?
Truth is, no, that's not it. Oh, I can't remember. Here, let me pause and I'll pull it up. So everybody, I'm pausing.
We each can have our favorite quote.
Now, before we share our quotes, remember, if you have not liked or subscribed or signed up for notifications or added a comment, please do that, because that's really helpful and that strokes our, at least my ego, and makes me keep making stuff. And for all the other people online making such content, please, like and subscribe them too. So here's mine. Truth is power, but only if shared. Love is unlimited, but only if freed. And we are one.
Nice.
Now your turn.
Okay, this is from my favorite female poet, Mary Oliver. She's my numero uno. Tell me, what is it you plan to do with your one wild and precious life? That's it.
That's beautiful. Thank you so much, everybody, for viewing, and we'll see you next time.
Bye, Aaron.
Bye, Rae.